Howdy.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, pretty much. We should be
Pretty
live
cool.
on the stream now, too.
Yeah, it says loading video. Lethal Hobo, I was promised a show.
Oh, no. We're not logged in yet. Alright, so this will start up the audio stuff here. We're just waiting on Twitch. Alright. So we should be live. We should be good to go.
We are live.
Oh, snap.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Smokey's getting down and dirty to start things off.
Yeah. Hey, you started it. You said that I got to give people back massages
Technically, I didn't say you had to.
for the flip the force points. Oh, did I unknowingly volunteer myself?
I don't even know. All right. So you ready to kick things off, sir?
Sure.
All right. Hopefully everybody's joined us in the chat. We got Smokey here already, and I don't know about you, but I think we got pretty good 10 topics to go over.
Hopefully we have the same 10 topics to go over.
Well, let's start things off right. The Colorado Regional.
Yeah, didn't you play in that last weekend?
I think I did. It's been a long week.
Yeah, because you're not even in. You're out of town.
Yeah, so I guess before we get things going too much, again, flip the forces on the road, and we're doing this.
Just half of you is on the road, right?
Yeah, just half of me. The team.
Your better
flip
half
not
is
on
still
the
in
road.
Houston.
Yeah, this is very true. So yeah, we made a short flight over to Colorado, played in the Colorado event, and then we made a short flight over to Missouri, and we're gonna play in the Missouri event tomorrow. So.
Exciting times.
It is. It's actually been a great week. I've basically been on vacation all week. Haven't been in a hotel. I've been staying with some very close dear friends. So, been having a lot of fun. I've been able to see a lot of friends I haven't seen in a long time. So, it's been good times. All right. So, 5 minutes starting now on the Colorado Regional. So, what were your thoughts on the reports that came in? Where do you want to start with that?
Well, it was the lowest turnout thus far.
By a grand margin.
Yeah, nine people. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Because leading up to it, I don't know if it was DJ or one of the other Colorado players was saying that they think they were going to get at least 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So it underperformed a little bit. But
Well, I think, the Oxford J was a little questioning, how many people were actually going to make it. I know he had talked to several players, but he kind of thought the Colorado meta had kind of dissipated. And he was very unsure, I know. And I know I was thinking there would be at least 18 or 19. And in fact, the Oxford J is joining us. I thought he was on the road. I wonder, DJ, have you arrived at your destination? Are you in town? So for people that don't know, him and two of his buddies, Jacob and I want to say Josh, but it might be, I think I'm saying that wrong. But they drove over from Colorado for the event tomorrow here in Missouri. So
how far of a drive does that? That's got to be a long drive.
they said it was like 11 hours, but I'm guessing they probably did it somewhere around 9. But or they're doing it somewhere around 9. I'm not actually sure. But they're great players. Smokey says he's texting and driving. Probably true.
That's very unsafe, they say.
Jacob got 3rd. He says they're still on the road. That's awesome. They're listening to us live on the road. So sweet. Jacob got, I guess, like 3rd or 4th, however you want to look at it there. And and David just missed the top cut. So, but yeah, only 9 people in attendance. One of them used a super buy, which was kind of nice. So the first round, everybody got to play. Basically, everybody scored points. But yeah, only 9 people. Very low turnout. Stoner was really nice. They gave out a lot of the product. I don't think everything from the kit was given out, but they gave out, a good chunk of it, which was cool. And it was well run. I mean, I think there was maybe like 7 minutes of downtime, if that, between rounds.
That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, 9 players, there shouldn't be too much downtime.
Yeah, but good on the TO to be on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not every TO would have been able to do that, in my experiences. We had like...
You go to Las Vegas where they don't know how to run a tournament, though, so...
Yeah, so it was good. It was well run. There's I think everybody was on a different deck. Like, I know Jacob and David were on the same dark side deck, but outside of that, I think every person there was on a different deck, which was really cool. Like, everybody was on something different.
Sluice got on the board with their first win.
Sluice got their first win, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. The person who won, he had top forward in Tyler. He actually caught a plane and flew over to Colorado and then stayed the night in the airport and then flew back to Texas the next day. So the final 2 were 2 Texas players. It's kind of cool. Like,
he literally just sat in the airport. He didn't get a hotel room?
That is correct.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He took second at 2 store championships that I won. And then we go all the way to Colorado. We play, we meet in the finals, and he takes first and I take second.
He gets revenge when it matters.
Yeah, for sure. It was a pretty nice little trophy. So yeah. I mean, it was surprising that only 9. I thought for sure Portland would have the fewer players, but I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado ends up having the smallest event.
There's still a chance that Portland could be smaller than 9. Let's hope not, though.
I've been trying to tell the Arizona guys I think they should go to it.
Well, Norman says Javier is moving to Chicago soon.
Oh, that's great, man. You guys will get another great player to play against. He plays X-Wing, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's a really, really good player.
Because we're losing Jarrett soon. He's moving to Las Vegas. So
but
I'll have to get in touch with this Javier fellow.
But yeah, I can't really think about... There was two guys that drove up an hour, David and Jacob, and then myself and Kennedy Hawk and Javier, who came from out of the area, and then they had 4 locals. So at least out of 9 people, half of them were locals, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's better than West Virginia, at least.
Yeah.
So tell us how you did in the tournament.
Yeah,
since that's our second topic.
Yeah, I think we were going to talk a little bit about the event itself, I guess. I got second, like I said. The dark side deck I played did very well. I swept the first round. I swept the second round. I did not use my super buy. I'm using that tomorrow in Kansas City. And so I swept the first round, swept the second round. Third round was against Jacob. He 5-4'd me. I really thought I was going to get it, but he is a darn good player, and I thought I was going to get the sweep there, but he definitely beat me. And then David and I played on the 4th round and split, and then in the final 4, it was me and Jacob, so it was kind of like a rematch. And my dark side, it had beat him. That was the game I won in the 3rd round. And my dark side, I knew, I needed a leg up, so to speak, because I knew his dark side was probably going to get the win. And so I ended up blowing up 3 objectives to his 1. And then when we switched, I think it was like turn 2, I basically realized I wasn't, my light side was not going to run away with it. So I just started playing not to lose, and so I never took the force back. I wanted the dial to get up as high as it could. I ended up blowing up an objective, so he was going to, have to blow up 3 to true tie. I'm getting an echo. Can you say something?
Yeah, I was waiting to jump in somewhere, but,
Please jump in. Sorry, I was just rambling.
Yeah, no, I mean, Saturday, you called me up, and you're like, should I use my buy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like... I kind of, I was there with, I was at the store with Justin and Jared. We're actually playing X-Wing.
Yeah.
And we all talked it over. And after you said 9 players, it just didn't seem, it seemed like it was best to save it for the, what is it, Independence or Kansas City, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah, I was trying to do math on whether or not that was a good spot to like try to. Do I guarantee the top 4, or do I just hit the numbers and try to guarantee it myself?
I mean, based on how you've performed in other events, you won a lot of store championships. You did well at Vegas. You did okay at Tyler. You were top 16 from Worlds. I had, my advice was based off your past performance. It's like, you got to be one of the 4 best players in the room. So that's why we kind of said it was a waste, especially knowing that the Team Covenant guys were going to are going to the Kansas City one. It seems like that one's going to be a little more challenging.
Sure.
And that's not a knock on the Colorado players.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
I'm just saying, you got to assume that the Missouri one is going to be a little more competitive.
Yeah.
Meaning more players.
Right. It was a goofy situation. We were all trying to do the math to figure out what you actually needed to get into the top, and yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys and decided not to use it.
Did you have to play 4 rounds or 5 rounds?
It's just 4 rounds.
4 rounds,
which is really goofy when there's only 9 people anyway.
What did the cut end up being?
Well, we ended up with 3 people on 27 and me on 26, and then I think the next closest was like 22 or 23.
Okay. Thank God for top cuts, otherwise it would have been a 3-way tie for first place.
Yeah. It was pretty goofy too, because I was on 26 points, but I had a higher strength of schedule than any of the 27 points. And I didn't use a super buy. One of the 27s also had a super buy, and I still had a higher strength schedule than that person.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting, but it was a good time. In the finals, I think I posted about it. My opponent Javier, yeah, he did 11 damage on turn 1, which was amazing. It was really, really good. I had only 1 2-drop, and then I had Mara, so I had put down Mara and committed her, as opposed to 2-drop. Because if I put the 2-drop down, he plays Swindle. It's just like GG. It's free to do whatever he wants. And then on the second turn, then I was able to put down 2 more 2-drops. But he was also able to drop a Blockade Runner and Red 2 on turn 2. So
yeah, the damage was already done.
Yeah, I only needed to get the dial to 5 because I won game 1 with the dial at 5. So I just needed to get it to 4, blow up an objective, and then we'd switch. And I'm pretty confident my light side was going to handle his scum deck just fine.
Yeah.
But it was a great game. He's a great player. I'm proud of second. It was only 9 people, so yeah, Lethal. I do have 2 spot gloss cards. That is correct. We have 3 Jabba mats and 2 spot gloss cards.
I'm excited to talk about this next topic. Actually, the next 1, 2, 3, 4 topics, because they're all kind of the same topic.
All right, so 5 minutes. Start now. Have your way, Eddie.
So they announced what has been called the rumored 3rd box set. Well, now it's officially the 3rd box set. What's it called? Between the Shadows?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sad I don't know the name. Yeah, Between the Shadows.
You and I have talked about this. I don't pay attention to spoiler stuff. I more play when stuff comes out.
I love spoilers.
Yeah.
It's so excited.
You do.
So it's a box set. It focuses on Jedi and Scum, and every affiliation gets sets, but the Jedi and the Scum get the majority of the sets.
Have they said what the breakdown is?
No, I believe all they said. Let's see, here it is. In this deluxe expansion, you'll find 26 new objective sets, giving 2 copies each of 12 distinct sets, and 1 copy apiece of 2 limited 1 sets.
Yeah.
So 2 affiliations get limit 1, 2 other affiliations get normal 2 of sets, and then it looks like the other expansions get, 5 sets each? So Scum gets 5 and Jedi gets 5 or something like that?
I don't know.
And then on top of that, you get a play set in the box. You don't have to buy 2 of these.
It's funny because you want to kind of call it baby core, because it's such a big thing like core was. But then at the same time, you get double everything, so it's not even like calling it like a baby core doesn't even make sense, because you don't need two of it. It's
Well, like Edge of Darkness to me was like the
baby
you know
core.
was the baby core. It was the Scum and Smuggler part of the core set.
Yeah.
So this is what I guess what we can expect from deluxe expansions, which I think is pretty interesting. I think I might have preferred them to spread the love and give everybody an equal amount of objectives.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely okay with them focusing on Scum because they're regarded as the one that needs the most help.
So I
I'm pretty
actually,
cool about that.
I told my local game store, I was like, hey, you're going to want to stock up on this. Because even though you don't need to buy two of them, I think it's going to be a hot seller because of the cards that it features.
Yeah, hopefully this helps drive a lot more people to the game.
Yeah, like if this doesn't build up attendance, I think the game's doomed. Like I think this is going to be like the highlight for a lot of people.
Yeah, and especially with them, they spoiled like probably the number one card that people care about.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that in a bit.
Which we'll talk about next. But I think the fact that you only have to buy one is pretty big. Because otherwise it would have been like a $60 thing.
Right.
But I'm pretty excited for it, and the art looks pretty amazing. The cards look pretty amazing, like gameplay wise.
Yeah.
I just hope it hits its deadline because I think they said third quarter, which is anywhere from July to July, August, September. So somewhere between July and September.
Yeah, we're going to come back and touch on that in a bit.
Yeah, that's one of our.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a concern about it though. Like I've talked to so many people that are just in love with what they've spoiled so far that I wouldn't be surprised if like the next couple months are just kind of slow for tournaments in general. Like, yeah, I mean obviously we're coming to a slowdown, but like I think you're going to see a lot of people that are just going to have the mentality of like, well, I'll start playing the game again once those cards come out because they're just so much better than anything else we've seen so far.
Well, that's so much better.
What?
I mean that Bulba's really good.
It's like a baby Devastator on crack.
All I'm gonna say is that they spoiled this Yoda without spoiling the Yoda that's coming.
Yeah.
So you've got like everybody's all googly-eyed over this new Yoda. They haven't even seen the second Yoda yet.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
So you've still got a lot of good cards coming in the rest of because we're halfway through.
But that's what I mean. Like what they've shown us in that just one sample article is better than anything else we know so far.
I mean that Bulba is really good, but no, I'm not even going to try to argue that anything is better from Echoes. I mean, there's some good stuff coming in Echoes, but that Bulba, that was pretty crazy.
All right, so moving on. You wanted to go over the dark side cards that have been spoiled so far.
Well, first we were going to talk about Bulba's set.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, that's
So-
right. I see what you're saying.
His wonderful objective, no disintegrations. It says combat damage dealt by a bounty hunter or mercenary unit you control cannot be reassigned by the protect keyword. So yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns off those annoying Wookiees. That stops Chewbacca in his tracks.
Yeah.
Because now Chewbacca can't do his thing.
Which is good.
Um,
I don't think it's wrong at all.
What's that?
I don't think that's bad at all.
Oh no. This objective is pretty good. Excuse me, pretty good.
The chat room
And the
is
fact
going
that
nuts in regards to all the good cards coming. Third Luke, third Obi, third Yoda. It's getting crazy up in here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the scum need high caliber cards, and this is a pretty good objective, and it doesn't fit the mold of other scum objectives.
Yeah.
That say if you have a captured card, you get this. I mean, this is actually a good scum objective.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lightside Protect is pretty, has been a pretty big thing for especially main decks, like character main decks.
Right.
Even for vehicle decks. And then, of course, we got the new Boba Fett.
Yeah, so for the listeners who might not have seen the card, cost 4, health of 3, 3 Force icons. He's got 1 unit and 1 blast, and then he's got 1 unit and 1 edge blast. He's also elite. Yeah, he's elite, and after this unit resolves a strike, remove all focus tokens from this unit, limit once per phase.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And the art's beautiful.
The art is amazing. He's got Trust Your Feelings pretty much built in. I mean, it's not the same as Trust Your Feelings, but I mean, it's more or less.
No, it's insane. It's like, to me, I would say it's Talon Roll built in, and that should never be built. I think the card's bonkers good.
He's pretty good, but I mean, he's still 3 health, and I mean, we haven't seen other cards in the box set.
Right.
So it's entirely possible that this Boba is not as crazy as people think.
Well, I mean, he can't block Sleuth Scouts, so he's going to lose. Like, Darkseid still sucks.
Well, yeah, but the scum probably have the easiest time against Sleuth Scouts because they have lucrative contract with those silly corrupt officials.
Right. I was just being facetious.
Plus, they've got 2 drops for days as well. So,
yep.
The third card in the set is pretty much just a 2-drop, but it's a little bit, it's slightly different. Instead of the black blaster, it's got the black blast, which is a little something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Another card is Flamethrower, and that one's caught some people's attention. I think it's a little on the expensive side. It costs 2. It says enhance a friendly character or droid unit. Reaction after enhanced unit is focused to strike, deal 1 damage to each participating unit. I mean, that's pretty sick on Boba, especially if you're able to strike and unfocus him.
Yeah.
You're gonna clean house in that engagement. Probably destroy every unit that's in it. I think that's gonna force a lot of people to just go in with 1 unit.
For sure.
This set also has prized possession in it, which is huge, I think.
Well, to me, I feel like Darkseid is slowly kind of building to a deck that can fight very similar to how the light side fights.
What do you mean by that?
Like light side would kill for a unit like this, just like light side would kill for a unit like Mara. And now you've got 2 of them, and Vader, I mean, is still good as an offensive unit as well. I just feel like Darkseid is slowly building. Like, you're going to be able to see a Darkseid deck that is defensive for like 3 turns and then incredibly offensive.
Oh yeah, they just flip the switch and they just blow you out. Because I mean, you have to be careful with Boba because he can just one-shot an objective.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
and like Mara not so much. I mean, she needs rage, but
she can still do it.
The Darkseid's definitely getting some aggressive units, but the light side still has their tricks.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Entangled card?
With this entire set, I'm kind of reserving judgment, to be honest.
So I'll go ahead and just read the text. It's a free event. When an opponent chooses a unit to strike, he must choose a different eligible unit to strike instead, if able. Then you draw 1 card. I think the drawing 1 card is good. Obviously, you want to keep cards in your hand for edge battles. So that helps with the edge battles. The forcing another unit to strike part, that could actually end up being very irrelevant.
Sure.
Because obviously, I mean, if it's Boba, they're probably only going to put 1 person in an engagement, and knowing that card exists, I don't think they risk getting blown out.
All right, that's our 5 minutes. Moving on, or you can continue here if you want.
Well, I mean, our next topic was talking about the rest of the Darkseid cards.
Yeah.
The first one that I see is the best that credits can buy. Yeah. It's an objective. Each damaged enemy vehicle unit cannot trigger its abilities. So I think that it's a nice counter to like a Falcon or Home One stuff. The really good vehicles that the light side has.
Yeah.
Then you've got the
Zeka?
The
highlight here is Zekathine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was gonna go to next. As soon as I can find it. I know they got a full shot of it.
It's on the About page.
So, Zek is a 4 resource unit, 1 force icon, 3 health. He's got 2 black blasters, a black tactics, and a white blaster. He's a character in a black sun. And then it's the forced interrupt that we're pretty much worried about. When this unit is destroyed, destroy each other unit in play.
Pretty good.
So it's a pretty interesting unit. I mean, he's got potentially 3 blasters, which is like that threshold where you want to be at with a unit. So he's a very good defensive unit, especially because he's also got the tactics. So
there's just nothing bad about him. I mean, his force icons are a bummer, but
yeah, he's definitely not like a card that you're happy to see in an opening hand. But probably about your second or third hand, you see him, you're like, yeah, I'm excited about this card.
I definitely wish he said when he leaves play as opposed to destroyed.
I agree, but because then I think he would have been a lot more dangerous that way, because then you could play him with like the Executor,
right,
or Killing Cold,
right,
and then you just sack them and you wipe their board. So I think that's probably why they didn't go that route. Like, I don't think it's good to have an easy board wipe card, and I think that would have been too easy.
And he still has that 4 in combo. I mean, Darkseid has a 4 board wipe card that just puts everything on the bottom.
Yeah, that's restricted to during the force phase only. So you either have to do it on your turn, which is terrible, or you have to do it at the end of their turn during their force struggle phase. In which case, you have to hold 4 resources up and not spend 4 resources on your turn.
Yeah, that.
So, and that's the main reason why that card's not played, is because it's an awkward card. I think
it's not because it's in a bad set.
Well, that's another good reason too. I'm not going to dispute that point, but I think you will see that if it would have been when he leaves play, that probably would have been a little too good.
Yeah.
Because another card that we can see is Family Connections, which is going to be like the savior, maybe. I don't know if it's a savior, but it's going to be very good for trooper decks. After you refresh, place 1 shield on each trooper unit you control. That's going to be pretty good with what is that forward command post or whatever it's called?
The shield thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good with that. Plus, giving your troopers shields is pretty good. Because a lot of them only have 2 health, so now you're kind of giving them that, almost like a 3rd health, sort of.
Did we talk about the Freelance Hunter? That is the reprint of Quality Security Team with its icons flipped?
Yeah, no, we talked about that in Boba. I just said it's a 2-drop with its icons flipped around.
But you didn't compare it to the security? Or you did?
I think it's a little bit better. Just because the blast is black?
Because of the ridiculously horrible tournament rules, I think it's incredibly good.
Yeah. We're not here to talk about that today. I think that's all the Darkseid cards that we can see. There is another card, official whatever, probably Inquiry or something. It's the 1-cost Sith event. It says Capture on it, so I think that's pretty interesting that the Capture effect is bleeding into Sith. And it says look at, I have to assume the capture one of those, and then on top of the deck. So it's probably look at the top whatever, capture one of those, and then it's probably like Zuckuss, I would imagine.
Maybe.
Seems interesting.
Alright, well that was the alarm.
And considering it could be free with the Emperor's Web, I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah, true.
Oh, we did forget about Boosh. Ah, well.
That's... Why wouldn't Boosh be a light side card?
Because Boosh was a bounty hunter before Leia took over the persona of Boosh.
Doxford J just said the best thing I've ever read. He says, I'm going to print the tournament rules out so I can literally pee on them. All right, so moving on, we've got some light side cards.
Yes, we do.
I heard they spoiled light side and dark side.
Yeah, so the first one that we can see all of is Following Fate.
No, let's just go right to the meat. And the
Oh, come on. I wanted to tease. I wanted to draw it out. We're doing Following Fate first.
Fine.
Then we'll do Yoda. Alright, so Following Fate, when you control 3 or more Jedi objectives, and this objective is undamaged, increase the cost of each event card played by an opponent by 1.
It's horrible. I don't know why you wanted to start there. This is a horrible objective.
Really?
How is that any good?
I hear Force chokes at 1 are pretty terrible.
Oh man, I hear light side objectives are super hard to damage as dark side players because we all know raise the stakes lasts for the entire game.
Right. No, I mean, this card would have been terribly overpowered if there was no while in damage text on there.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be this ridiculous while you control 3 or more Jedi objectives. Obviously, they're going with a theme, which is fine. But
it's a theme,
that text is so bad for the requirements. But.
I disagree, but okay.
Well, but I mean, compared to like Flight of the Crow, which has like some of the best text ever printed on an objective, and it's ridiculous.
I'm not disagreeing that like the undamaged part is bad because I typically don't like the while undamaged objectives.
No, I mean I actually agree that needs to be there. I don't like the other part of it, the having to have all those objectives in play. I think
it keeps you from splashing.
Yeah, which I get the thematics. I do. I just think it's a bad objective. So.
To each their own. Alright, so the next card we'll talk about is Life Creates It. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll talk about Yoda. So, Yoda. He's 3 resources, 5 force icons, 3 health.
Yeah.
So that's the big one right there. He's no longer 2 health. He's elite. He's got a black blaster, a black tactics, and then he's got some wonderful game text that says this unit gains an edge-enabled tactics icon for each Jedi objective you control.
Yep. Love
so this is where we see that they're really feeding into the mono Jedi theme. They want you to play as many Jedi objectives as you can. So he's basically a cheaper Emperor.
Well, as long as you have 3 Jedi objectives, sure, and you have to win the. I don't know. I don't know.
So, are you going to play this or are you going to splash this in a scum deck?
Like, here's the thing. Like, Lightside doesn't really want a unit that just does nothing when it attacks, but puts. I mean, don't get me wrong. His ability is good. Obviously, if you have a bunch of Jedi objectives, he's going to put a lot of tokens down. But, like, he's not blowing up objectives, which is the number one thing Lightside players want to be doing. So, again, I want to reserve judgment for this set because it seems to me like there's going to be a lot of different styles of play once this thing hits. So I'm sure there's other cards that are going to be focused around sitting back and doing nothing as a Lightside player. Like, I think the days of Lightside only playing defense are going to be changing. So, or only playing offense, I'm sorry. So
yeah, I mean, the Jedi especially are going to have the capabilities of sitting there holding the Force, piling up their forces, and still being able to keep pressure on through various attacks. Using Yoda as a means of controlling the Force is a possibility because he gets to place 3 tactics.
I mean, I'm just trying to say he's a very useful card. I just, for right now, I don't know if I'm supposed to be excited about this card or not because I don't know exactly what it's going to do for us, if that makes sense.
Right, we've only got a very small portion of a picture that they're trying to paint.
Yeah, like I would have preferred he have just like 1 tactics icon and gains blast damage.
Oh, without a doubt, that would have been way better. But
yeah, like, but I mean, again, this could be incredible, but I have no idea what else is coming.
I mean, a Yoda with a trust your feelings after you've won an objective and being able to play 6 focus tokens seems pretty good.
Maybe, right? Wait, hold on, say that again?
A Yoda with the trust your feelings.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay. Yeah.
And you've won the edge.
Yep.
Or even a Yoda with a double strike. Well, we only have to talk about 2 cards.
Well,
The other two really aren't that interesting anyway.
You know, I'm pretty sure if we would have saved this for a post-10 discussion, we would have a lot more
That's enough out of you.
All right, so moving on. Missouri meta.
Is it the Missouri and Origins meta?
No, there's like four. There's Missouri, there's Origins, there's Atlanta, and then there's another one.
I forgot about Atlanta.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other one is.
I thought there was just those three.
No, I think I'm pretty sure there's a fourth. And maybe it's a overseas one, I'm not sure. But
I don't know about the overseas ones.
I'm pretty sure there's four. Like, no, there's... Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking next weekend when there's like New Jersey and North Carolina. Maybe I was thumping one of those in, yeah. I'm not sure.
I think next weekend is the last weekend of regionals until July.
So just real quick, Lethal, because of the delay, Lethal wrote, Yoda with all focus is good for holding force, defense, and clearing the way for all your other units. And I totally agree. That's why I don't really have thoughts on those cards, because I have no idea what's coming, and I have no idea if that's a good thing anymore or not. You know, that's
I mean, in the vacuum, Yoda looks really good because of all those tactics.
So,
I mean, we can agree to that, I'd imagine.
So what do you think the meta is going to be like this weekend?
I have no idea. I haven't played in a tournament since May 17th.
And you just turned off the internet and you don't get on the online sites?
I have turned my brain off to the LCG temporarily. I don't need it until Gen Con. No, I mean, I've been keeping up. Like, I talk to you, see what you're playing. I read about what was played at these events, but outside of, and to be honest, I don't even really know what you played at Colorado, because we never really talked about it. I knew what you were playing at Vegas.
So
the only thing I know about the meta from Colorado is that Sleuth won, and the winner had Mono Scum, and then you broke down the top four.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's obvious, you know, there's going to be Sleuth, you know, there's going to be Solo Smugglers, there's going to be Sith Control, there's going to be people fruitlessly trying Navy, you know, there's going to be people fruitlessly trying Scum.
It looks like people are probably going to shift back to Sith Control now for Dark Side.
Yeah, Escape Pharmacy points out that you could probably just buy that box and build a better Jedi or Scum deck than you could right now.
Yeah, you can definitely build a better Scum deck that you get when you can.
I mean, I don't know. I think corrupt officials are going to be a auto include going forward. But anyway, so the meta. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think the meta's in a bad place right now at all. I think the meta's in a really good place. I just think that there's some cards that are really bad for the game that are out there. And can you talk your thoughts on that?
What do you think is currently bad for the game? I'm assuming you're talking about certain light side cards.
I think Sleuth Scouts and Unblockables are really, really bad for the game. But I told you that when they won at Worlds.
Right. But I mean, I disagree, but to a point.
You can't keep a card in an environment that forces your opponents to have to play a certain way and have to keep an opening hand. Don't get me wrong; they're nowhere near as degenerate as freeloaders and Dash were together. But I think they really stint a lot of gameplay mechanics. But
I think they are light years easier to deal with than Dash and the freeholders were. Only because a lot of sets have multiple 2-drops that you can put in that you're not losing much.
But if they have 2 swindles, it doesn't matter. Like, if they have a god draw, it does not matter at all. Like, that's my only issue. Like, I have lots of thoughts on it. I don't know. I won't continue.
You lose to a god draw, you shrug your shoulders, and you're like, all right, whatever, I lost.
Yeah, but this game, before Edge of Darkness, this game was about skill and decision making. And ever since Edge of Darkness, it's about who's got the more powerful opening hand and who can recover better. And most of the time, the better players are going to end up at the top. But there are decks like Freeloaders and Dash and Sleuth that you could give to any player. It doesn't even matter if they've played this game before. And they'll pilot them well in the tournament and they'll do well. And that is just what I dislike. I understand that there needs to be that for players to not feel like they have to always play top tier decks and have to rely on player skill all the time. I get that. I really don't like how limiting those cards are to the environment.
No, I mean, I don't like Sleuth Scouts either, for the same reasons. But I mean, I don't think they're bad enough to where we need to, or that they need to do anything about it.
We'll see. I know talking to FFG, they think they have done things about it, and I disagree. I don't think they've done anything about it. Oh, that was the 5 minutes, so moving on. So just to recap, I guess, we think the meta is going to be all over the place with the typical decks showing up.
Yes.
We do not think there will be any surprises. I guess is probably the easiest way to say that.
Correct.
All right. So this next one was kind of awkward, but we wanted to talk about the Gamor run ruling.
Yeah, you thought it was redundant. You were confused, or not confused, but you didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
I guess
there's some things going on in the game right now, rule-wise, that I just totally don't agree with. But I can be a bit of a rules Nazi, so that is.
I mean, I'm okay with the ruling, and I was a little confused as to the ruling. I contacted Nate to try to get a little clarification on it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, all we saw was that it's redundant. There was no why it's redundant or anything like that.
So did you get a reply? Do you want to read that here?
Well,
You
so
probably can't.
no, I can't because it's a rules thing.
Sure. Okay.
But I'm going to read what Matt, DB Meeboy or Red 5 CCG said. He says, along the Gamor run only creates a condition that the revealed card contributes the icon. The second copy reveals the same card, and no matter how many times the condition exists, it only contributes once. He says a parallel example would be playing 2 copies of Unwavering Resolve on the same unit. The second copy would be redundant.
That so much, but okay. I think to me this is just another case of the intention of the card is different than how it's ruled, and we have these really murky rules that clarify things very poorly. Well, here's my prime issue with this rule. Like, first of all, the card says that the reaction triggers at the start of the force phase, and then the reaction concludes at the end of the force phase.
Yeah, it creates a lasting.
Yeah, like, why in the world does that exist? Like, it should be the reaction triggers, and then there should be a second block of text that specifically states, at the end of this phase, a reveal card, off of this card. You get what I mean? There should be a break, and there should be 2 different things. The reaction to put the card in your hand should not be a part of that as one whole reaction. Does that make sense?
So
I'm probably saying that horribly because I'm not looking at the text. But.
Yeah, no, but so you have a problem with the drawing the card part? Is that
I have a problem with a reaction that occurs over the entire course of a phase. I think that's absurd. I think the reaction should occur at the beginning of the phase, and I think at the end of the phase there should be I guess either a static or a reaction that says.
Well, you've got the part that is saying do this now,
right.
And then at the end of the phase, once you've won the struggle, which happens at the at the end, or not at the end, but it's not really.
It's a reaction that lasts the entire phase. That's 100%.
Not the entire phase. It doesn't last the entire phase. It lasts during the struggle, which is not the entire phase because you've got the first part where you get to commit your unit.
Right, it takes place before that, and then it doesn't resolve until the struggle is resolved. So it's the entire phase.
No, because there's an action window at the end of the phase. This happens before that.
Okay, I don't lump action windows as being a part of what I'm talking about.
It's all part of that phase. But okay, I see what you're saying though.
It's absurd.
It says the card says reveal the top card. All right, and that is the top card for all intents and purposes until the force struggle is over.
Right, we learned that from
now you don't have another top card to reveal, which is why that part is redundant.
Well, no, they're saying it's redundant because that card is the same card, and that card is already the redundancy is that it's already added. It's icons.
Well, the redundancy is that you can't reveal your top card because it's already revealed. And then it says contribute your force icons. It doesn't say add your force icons. And I think I asked the question, is add different than contribute?
So just hold on. I just got to clarify. So Nooner says in the chat, he says going with TGO on this one. Make no mistake. I'm not disagreeing with TGO. So there's not one of us to side on. My points are just that it's a poorly written card to do what they want it to be doing. That's my issue. I think that there is a vastly better way to write it.
I'm not going to disagree that it probably could be worded better. I'm not all that great on the wording and the rules, to the level that Matt is.
Drawn, or it's not the top. I'm totally agreeing. I get what they're saying, right? However, what I'm saying is the card is not written in a way that would make sense, or would be clear, or could be written.
That's obvious because we had to get this amount of clarification on the card.
Right, but that's why I wanted to talk about it. It's just we have other issues where intent, design, and actual wording are very different.
I think what I got from my conversation with Nate, and he never explicitly said yes or no on this, so I could be wrong. I think that the difference comes down to it says contribute and not add. I think if it said add, then you probably would have been able to get both cards.
Sure. So Nooners, he says, why are you still complaining? We wanted to discuss the ruling and to bring about the ruling so people understood it, and I wanted particularly to comment on the fact that it was poorly worded and could have been written much better and in a way that would have made a lot more sense, so there wouldn't be this confusion. So that's it. We weren't arguing. We were just simply discussing the card and the ruling. But anyway, moving on.
This is a topic you wanted to talk about.
Origins?
Yes.
Yeah, so Origins is this weekend. I think it's awesome, and I'm thrilled to hear about all the players that are going. Hoop Jones is going to be in attendance, which is pretty cool. But we were just going to talk about... Don't write that. We like to discuss. We don't like to complain. I like to discuss. I can discuss things all day with people regarding a plethora of things.
I forgot that's going to show up in the video now.
So anyway, Origins this weekend. It's obviously going to be a big deal, and I believe it's Cray is the username that's been organizing everything. And if you guys want to follow what's going on with Origins, there's a forum on Flip that is completely devoted to Origins. He's gonna be putting in all the pairings. He's gonna be putting in all the rounds. He's got everything covered. He's Skate Pharmacy says they've got their own championship mat. It has 1313 artwork. It looks awesome. I totally agree. Really cool stuff. And that's kind of what we were going to discuss a bit. I wanted to mention it. I wanted anybody in the area that's already planning on going to Origins to plan to go to that. And then, can you say something that's doing that?
What's 1313?
It's the Imperial stuff, or not Imperial stuff, but it's the stuff from the books, right? I'm not crazy.
I don't know. I don't read a lot of the Star Wars books anymore.
No, I don't read them either. I just read stuff online. But
I used to read them, and then I just thought I came to the conclusion that they're just poorly written books that are the same formula over and over again. So I stopped reading.
So we'll wait for Skate Pharmacy to clear up the confusion on 1313. But one thing that we were going to discuss a little bit was that they actually, I believe they've got a regional trophy. FFG sent them a regional trophy and sent them spot gloss cards and damage tokens.
Do they get a buy?
No. You know this.
Do I? Did you explain this to me already? I don't remember. I can't remember crap anymore, so...
Okay, he says of the Boba Fett games. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was the company working on it or if it was the group behind the game itself. Oxford Chase says they might just keep on driving and go to Origins instead.
Well, that's like another 8-hour drive. Forget that.
I think it's really interesting that FFG shipped them out so much product from the regional kit, and yet when all the discussions were being had way long ago, we always said it would make sense for Origins to get the regional. And then they didn't give Origins the regional, but then they've given them all this stuff from the regional. very, very weird. Like it's I wonder if they just changed their mind or if they decided to do things a little I don't know, but it's really interesting that they've gotten like almost the exact same price pool, you know.
Maybe they re-threw the darts and one landed in Columbus.
I mean, maybe they just didn't even think about it. Maybe FFG just isn't even aware of Origins. I don't know. But I know we had all talked about it. So I'm really glad for the guys. I think it's really cool that anybody attending there has the chance to get that stuff. And I know that there was a ton of people from Ohio that weren't even going to bother with regional season because of the horrible placement of the regionals. So it's really cool that they get them. I just think it's really weird that they get them, you know.
I'm picking Colonel Sanders to win.
I want Hoop to go deep. But
they had extra kit because the U.S. only had 15 instead of 16.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense, actually. So the comments are that from Skate and from David that they had an extra kit because they could have done 16, but our game only got 15. So that makes sense. But they didn't send the full kit, so they've still got some Jabas somewhere and a bunch of playmats somewhere.
I'm pretty sure they got a lot of Jabas somewhere, a lot of playmats, a lot of damage tokens somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would make sense, right? Speaking of damage tokens, I got a package of shield tokens today.
I've already had those.
I know, but you know my
Is that your first thing is shields?
yes, I popped my cherry on shield tokens today.
Oh, did you get those off eBay or something?
I didn't. There was a very, very cool individual who was hanging out with a group of my friends. I was hanging out with gamers all week. It's been awesome. And this guy had stores that were letting him purchase kits directly. And so he had like 8 or 10 packages. And I had mentioned that I was looking for them before I even knew that he had them. And he just totally gave me a package for free. And I was like, dude, I can't take this. They're worth money. And he's like, no, it's all right.
Yeah, like 10 of those sells for like 60 to 70 bucks.
They sell for $7.50 a piece. So very, very awesome of him to do. That's made my day. So.
I've got 30 of them.
All right, so final topic. Worlds weekend. Well, we weren't actually just discussing Worlds. We were discussing meta situations for all of this.
Well, I thought we were going to touch on Gen Con and Worlds.
Yeah, but the idea with the meta behind it. So I'll let you kick things
right. Yeah, the discussion was going to be about where we think the cycle, the Echo cycle will be for Gen Con. Obviously, it should be fully released by Worlds.
Yeah.
And if we think this box set is going to hit by Worlds.
Right.
Before Worlds.
Right. So
it'd be legal for Worlds.
So I guess like starting things off, do you think the cycle will complete by Gen Con?
No.
Okay.
I do not.
If it does,
we're currently at the third set.
Yeah, we still have 3 more packs to go, and there's only 2 months before Gen Con.
Right. Yeah, we got three packs to fit into 2 months. I don't see it happening.
Now, the speculation was that they rushed Lure because they wanted, holding all the cards to work.
Environment.
They wanted holding all the cards to work with freeloaders. Obviously, those were meant to combo. So if they're capable of rushing, you don't think they'd be capable of making sure that the cycles... Well, I mean, obviously, it's just an assumption. But.
I would be happy if 5 of the packs are out. I'd be happy if all of them are out. I would prefer just 5.
Well, but we weren't going to talk about that stuff, right? We were just going to talk about whether or not they can do it.
Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? I don't think so. I mean, if past practice is anything to go off with them.
Right.
Last year the cycle wasn't complete, and it started approximately around the same time.
Right.
So I don't think so. I think it's going to be just like last year. We have 5 packs, and then they release the 6th pack that weekend, and then it's legal for the last chance tournament. That's what I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would hug every FFG employee there if they also sell the box set at Gen Con.
They're not going to sell the box set at Gen Con. There's no.
I
can't see
I know without a doubt they're not going to. But like in the slim 1 less than 1% chance that it would happen, I would give every single FFG employee a hug.
See, and that's kind of my fear. And I've said this to some other people, but that's kind of my fear right now with the game, is that so many people have seen what's in that box set, and it's just like everybody knows that's where the good stuff is. Like, we're now just kind of, I think you're going to have a lot of players that are just going to look at that and say, I just want that. Like, forget the other stuff that's out right now. Like, I just want to play with that stuff.
Behind the scenes, I've told you that, my heart is really not into this game right now because I'm bored with it, but my future rests on the box set. If that box set hits before Worlds, like if it hits late September, October, I'm going to be like a kid in a candy store with that set.
Yeah.
Because the set is going to be so good. It looks so awesome.
And you just need one. You get everything. There's like no downside to that box set that we know of.
I have to believe that box set is just going to flip everything on its head.
In a good way, though, and I really think it's gonna be the adrenaline shot in the chest that this game needs. My concern is that the next couple of months are going to be very mundane as we're all waiting for it.
Well, with that box set going into Worlds, you'd have to think, if the quality of Scum cards are as good as that Boba Fett, or just clearly they can't all be as good as that Boba Fett, but if they're all good cards, you've got Scum that is looking like a super playable affiliation finally.
Yeah.
Like tier 1 quality stuff.
Yeah.
Then you're also going to have Sith still looming out there. And that trooper objective makes troopers look pretty scary.
Well, Skate Pharmacy says, hopefully we will get some good surprises in the next few packs. I want to play indoor Ewoks.
There's still some good stuff to come, I'm sure, but that box set...
Don't get me wrong, there's still stuff I'm excited for. It's just I don't know that any of that stuff's going to be any better than what we've been shown. That's
I'm pretty excited for the new Yoda set. So, I really hope that gets spoiled.
So you're thinking the cycle will not complete by Gen Con, but the big box is going to be out by Worlds.
What's that? Who said that?
No, I'm clarifying. Like you're saying.
Oh yeah. I thought you were reading a comment, and I was just trying to find it.
No, we've got like a couple seconds. I was just trying to wrap it up. Right.
No, I just hope that the meta from Gen Con is not the same meta that we have for Worlds, which is what we went through last year. That was just so boring.
Right.
I mean, granted, we got the Force Pack after Gen Con, and it had Executor in it, and that changed some things. But, the decks really weren't that different.
Sure. All right, so that's the end of the top 10. We're going to switch gears now and talk about Protect.
And not just the rules. We're going to talk about some fluffy flavor stuff.
Yeah, but we had some specific things we wanted to mention, right?
Yeah, and I don't have my notes, so I hope you got those in front of you.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I told you. I forgot to print my notes out at work, and my wife took my laptop, so I'm unprepared. So, this topic kind of spawned from a thread the other day on one of the forums.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I can't remember which one it was. It may have been the one about when the box set was announced.
Yeah.
There was a conversation going on about Protect, and I think somebody said that Protect they thought that like Scum should have had Protect, that they were the affiliation that should have had Protect.
Well, okay, so looking at the notes, we were going to discuss like the thematics and flavor of the concepts first.
Yep. That's kind of where I'm going with what I was talking about.
Get there, son. Get there.
Hey, I can be a chatty Cathy just like you, mister. So somebody said that they felt like Scum should have been like the affiliation to have Protect for the dark side. I could not disagree more. The Scum are all about the credits, themselves, the lone warrior, whatever you want to call it. Like, bounty hunters aren't going to stick their neck out to save somebody. And the people they pay, because you got to assume that they're paying people to help them, they're not going to stick their neck out. They just care about, money.
Yeah, I can't think of any bounty hunters with bodyguards.
I could see, like, the Gamorrean guards,
Yeah.
But that's more.
Yeah, that would make sense actually.
I mean, that would have been more for like protect Jabba.
Yeah, like it would have either had to been like really specific or really awful. Like,
yeah. Like if it was just protect Jabba, that would have been somewhat awful.
Like health of one and protect or something, which wouldn't make any sense because they're big, huge guys.
But I just can't see protect fitting into Scum outside of the Gamorrean guards. I see it perfectly fitting perfectly with Sith, with those Emperor's Royal Guards, because that's their job, to protect the Emperor. Same with the Wookiees in the Guardians of the Peace. And the other one that felt weird to me flavor-wise was the Renegade Y-Wing. Because the Renegade Y-Wings, they're smugglers. They felt kind of like the same as a bounty hunter. Like, why are they going to stick their neck out to save Red 2?
Well, I mean, I think
like
in terms of thematics, like, does it even make sense for a vehicle to like absorb damage done to another vehicle?
It doesn't really make sense. I mean, it makes sense in the fact that maybe they sacrifice themselves and swerve into the way, but I mean, what I'm really nitpicking is the fact that they're Renegade Squadron Y-Wings.
Yeah.
So, but all the other the Guardians of the Peace and the Wookiees, like I think, like flavor-wise, they're they fit perfectly.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on it?
Thematics?
Yeah.
I think like you said, it makes sense with the Wookiees. I've never heard of Guardians of the Peace before, so I'm sure that makes sense.
A Jedi Guardian, Guardian of the Peace kind of thing. I mean, the Jedi, that's what they did.
But to be fair, I mean, it's to literally be fair, right? Like, by that concept alone, then all of the Jedi should have protect. Right, because like
no. I see your point there, but you can't give everybody. You can't put protect on every Jedi card.
No, I'm just that's what I'm saying. Like arguing like thematics, it only works to a certain degree. Like just like the Gamorrean guards, like they're guards of Jabba's palace. They should probably have protect, but their protects would have to be awful because they sucked at their job. So it just doesn't, like it just doesn't make sense to give it to them. Like it just won't work. So I. It's fine. I think gameplay-wise, it's another issue. Now they have corrupt officials, which is like protect for objectives, which I can't even comprehend the thematics behind that. Like, well, I don't understand what is so officially corrupt about guys that prevent damage or something. I don't know. It's just weird, but.
Yeah, I could see that. That one's a bit of a stretch. I wasn't even considering the corrupt officials as part of the protect, but I guess they are protecting damage.
So Lethal says Guardian is a rank in the Jedi Order, so that makes sense. Yeah, like all I mean is like if Chewbacca's standing there and like Vader shows up to slice him down with the lightsaber, like I don't think Yoda's just gonna stand by and watch. Like that's all I mean. Like in the true sense of like thematics.
Well, no, Yoda's gonna intervene.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like there's really no sense to argue thematics, right? Like it's just kind of silly in general. We've got Yoda that can or Chewie that can destroy a Devastator. Like it's like,
yeah.
But okay, so
2 damage and hit your Devastator for 4.
So then we were going to talk about which protect is currently strongest. Like so, we were going to say which side has the best protect right now. So which would you say?
Which side has the best protect?
Yeah.
I think the light side, because you've got the Guardian with the shield. They've also got protect for vehicles, and occasionally the Wookiees. So I mean, they've got a wider array.
So I was going to say dark side.
Okay.
I was going to be odd man out.
The dark side is fine because they've got the 3 health protector.
Well, you know what? I don't know. Like, it would be an auto lock for light side if Wookiees always had protect rather than the objective having to be in play.
Right.
But I think because Wookiee Life Debt has to be in play, I think I've got to give it to like those Royal Guards just seem to stay on the board forever.
I'm not going to disagree. I mean, the Royal Guards are really good, but their other protector is very limited in his role.
Right.
So, I mean, really to get him to work, you have to commit your Royal Guard, use the Royal Guard to protect, and chain it with the other protector.
All right. So then who do you think? Which is the best unit with protect?
The best unit? I honestly, I think I want to say the Guardian because the shield, because that allows you so much. So you can do so much more. You can go in and attack with her and shield your good unit. You know, like a common play has always been Luke with a Guardian, shield Luke. You know, so he can't be focused out.
It's interesting, right? Because like the Star Destroyer from Heart of the Empire has protect, and that thing is a health of 5 with 5 damage. It's like that thing.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, like I mean, he seems pretty good, especially because now we have a bunch of more like Coruscant objectives. So like that seems like something that might be up there, right? But then you've got the Renegade that is also threatening with the blast damage. Yeah, I don't know. It's Oxford J says moisture farming.
Yeah, moisture farming, protect your Tatooine locations with its 1 health. No, I mean I really like the Guardian because of the shield.
Yeah.
I like the 3 health on the guard, but to me, I think the shield just makes the difference.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like my personal, like the card I like to see in play with protect most would be the Royal Guard, just because that thing just seems to live forever. Like protecting Sith units is like amazing.
I mean, I guess if Wookiee life debt's in play, Chewbacca is the best protector.
Right. Yeah. True enough. Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's by best it was very subjective. You know, it wasn't very based. All right, so then the final thing we were going to talk about, I guess, with it was where should protect go from here? So what do we need to see, and what do we want? What do we not need to see?
I've always felt that Navy needs something that can protect, like the big ships. You know, like the Star Destroyers. So, like some kind of TIE fighter that can protect a capital ship would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't think the light side needs too much more protect.
I mean, well, does Rebel have anything that protects?
No, because the scum have, or not the scum, the smugglers have the Y-Wings, and the Wookiees and the Jedi have the Guardian. So I don't think they have anything that, with the protect keyword. I mean, it would be nice for there to be like a Rebel set that said protect an officer, or, you know, like somebody like Mon Mothma or Leia, Maydeen, like those kind of characters. Like, I don't think they don't need to make another protect character that could protect any character, because then that just like makes Jedi seem even better, and then now you're allowed to splash some Rebel sets in there with them.
I mean, I don't know. Lethal had a good point, you know, that like because of Swindle, the dark side protect is pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Like, well, not crappy, but like he says easily dealt with.
Although every time I see someone play a Royal Guard, it totally pisses me off because it saves Pal from Luke's targeted strike. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Royal Guards are incredible, but maybe they wouldn't be so loved if there wasn't such good Sith units. You know?
Do you think maybe Darkseid needs some kind of objective protector?
Like, honestly, instead of protect, I'd like to start seeing some like built-in deflection.
Like you just bounce like an objective damage, like deflection kind of thing.
No, like just like a new keyword, like a new static keyword, just deflect 1. So like for if you're gonna do 2 damage to it, it deflects 1 somewhere.
Is this for unit damage or for objective damage?
Unit damage.
Okay, so it's basically a unit with a built-in lightsaber deflection.
Yeah, like I don't think that's a bad concept. Like I think that would create a lot of like more decision windows and more opportunities for mistakes to be made and things like that. Like obviously you can't have the number be crazy. Like you can't have it be like
deflect 3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's got to be limited to like 1. But I kind of like to start seeing that instead of having to rely on other units to be worthwhile.
I think that's definitely that's pretty interesting because you can't have it on a unit with a lot of health though, because then it just becomes so hard. I think on like a 2 health unit, well then well no, it would work against like, I would have to assume that would work against like a force choke or something, right?
Yeah, like for example, like I'd prefer to see like Yoda cost 3, health of 2, and deflect 1, than I would see a Yoda with cost of 3, health of 3, and no deflect. Does that make sense? Or like because like
No. I agree with that. Yeah, a Yoda that costs 3 with a deflect would be pretty cool if you had 2 health. It saves them from the force choke, and that would make things interesting actually.
like I get the concept of protect. It's to your other guys are preventing damage and stuff. But I think like the further the game goes, if you keep putting things out there that just mitigate damage, it doesn't make it very interesting. But if you put things out there that mitigate damage by reflecting the damage back, I think it just opens up a whole bunch of decisions that like a whole new like decision tree that wasn't there before.
Lethal says it totally warps battle math. I agree with that because now you got to worry about your one health units. Your 2 health units can how many hits can they take? Yeah, it adds some complexity, and I like that.
But
they say you need to win worlds now and design it.
Yeah, I saw. But well, I could make a comment there, but I'll refrain. Like, as far as protect going forward, I think you're totally right. That I think all the affiliations should have some to a certain degree, because otherwise you have to splash all the time. But if I'm FFG and I'm releasing stuff, they just gave us the force resources, which are obviously meant to make things easier to do certain things. So they're getting us there to the place the game needs to be at. It's going to take us some time. So I think it'll take some time before we see a Navy protection. I think it's going to take some time before we see a scum protection.
I think they have to be careful with the amount of protect that they put out there too.
Yeah. Because
you don't want too much, because then it's just the protectors are dying and the main people, your mains aren't leading the board, and the mains are really what kind of dictate a game. Like if you can't remove an Emperor Palpatine from the board because they've got 6 guys that can protect damage, well that's a pretty stupid game.
So do you think like the Coruscant Protect ship is kind of a beefy unit, but it doesn't see much play because the set it's in is not great, But now, what if they gave Protect to like would you want Protect on a bigger unit? Like something similar, like that has 5 health, and does a lot of things and Protect.
I would love to have a character protector with 5 health and shields.
Because like so far, it's outside of that ship. It's only been on little guys.
Yeah, I really don't think they should. I think 3 health is kind of like the max they should go. Yeah. Because trying to get through that Royal Guard sometimes is difficult.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like at some point the game's going to evolve. We're going to see more icons on units than we're used to. Or we're going to see better icons on units than we're used to. Like Darkseid can't keep going with only a handful of 4 unit damage icons. Like they're going to start needing some more defense. So at
some point we're going to see a 6 blaster unit.
Well, it's like I've always said, like the math behind this game almost forces a reset at some point, because you're just going to get to the point where all the cards have like power creep so high that like it only makes sense to run the best cards, So like that's my way of saying yes. I think we are going to get there, and once we're there, I think soon after there's going to have to be a reset.
I don't know.
No,
I hope we don't get to that point.
It sounds like Game of Thrones is getting to that point.
I don't follow Game of Thrones, so I don't know. You're talking about like their talk of rotation?
Yeah, there's supposed to be an announcement at Worlds here coming up.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, you can't expect people to have to go back years and years and years to buy product. Like, it's just
no. I wanted to play Game of Thrones because when the TV show come out, I was like, oh, there's a Game of Thrones game. I want to play that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm like 10 years behind? Oh,
so
never mind.
So you're mostly happy with Protect right now. The only one that really bugs you is the Renegade. And then going forward, you want to see more Protect on small units, not Protect on big units.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think. I think three health should be like the capacity for a unit with protect.
Yeah.
The five health, I think it's the Star Destroyer is five health
Yeah.
with shields. It protects Coruscant objectives. I mean, I'm okay with that because it's a very narrow form of protect.
Gotcha.
There could be a day where I hate that card. I don't know. But then the light side does have targeted strike, and plus you're also able to do unit damage to it. So as long as you can keep that thing from winning an edge battle, you're fairly safe against it, I think.
Yeah. So Lethal points out, if they put in rotation with Game of Thrones, he would play because there's no way he's going to play catch up, and I totally agree. And my point, I guess I'm kind of getting at is like I think we'll get to the point where the math behind this game gets so big and the years involved, say it's 3 or 4 years, I guess, or maybe even up to 5. It depends on how long it takes them to raise the power level. But I think you're going to have a lot of players that are going to be in Lethal spot where they'd love to play some Star Wars, but there's no way they're going to get into that. The miniatures have it kind of nice because it's look at how long all those miniature games have been around, where they just introduce new armies every once in a while, but you can kind of play the stuff for years if you want.
Are you talking like 40K or something like that?
Yeah. And I think X-Wing is going to float on the same thing. They release models every once in a while. You're going to have players that just love to buy everything and have everything. But I think, years down the road, they're not going to be in such a dire need to play catch-up, so to speak. It's just much simpler.
I would hate to have to play catch-up in X-Wing. I mean, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to spend a lot of money to get what I wanted.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have too much else to say on Protect. Do you?
No, I got nothing.
We knocked it out. All right. Is there anything in the chat anybody else wants us to talk about?
Lethal said something about smugglers are going to get more protect with the Wookiees. That's assuming Wookiee life that's out. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm not sure how things are going to go, but all I know is I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Like I'm not anxious or nervous or worked up. Like I feel like I understand the meta pretty well at this point. I'm not really expecting any surprises or anything even remotely close to a surprise, I guess. But I imagine it's going to be a great time. I feel like I know half the field, personally, which is awesome. It should be a good time. I'm excited for the Colorado guys to get into town, and hopefully we can have a good time chilling tomorrow. And I've got some guys, Todd and Peter. Todd, top 16s. Well, I don't know if he wanted me to know. I don't know if he wants me to say who he is on here, but he top 16 worlds. He's going to be there. Zach Bunn and 3 other players. One of them, Jesse from the Tulsa area. He top 8'd or top 4'd the Tyler event, and there's just going to be a lot of good players and a lot of people. It should really be a good time.
You'll be glad you saved your buy.
I think so. I mean, it's just, admittedly, like the buy is nice, but I am really cringing at the fact that these are 80-minute rounds tomorrow, and a buy for 80 minutes. Oh my god, like that is going to be one of the worst things ever.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they're doing 80-minute rounds.
My assumption is we'll be able to talk them down to 70, but
that's going to be a long day.
Lethal says, "You got this, Flip, number 1." No, I don't think I've got this. I think I'll do well enough, but the meta right now is very dependent on what cards you draw and what your matchups are, and so I can only play as well as my matchups allow me, and as well as the cards allow. So thankfully, a lot of the rules that I'm a rules Nazi on have been eliminated, so I don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's good. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Well, I wasn't paying.
I wasn't paying attention. The co-host was talking, so I just zoned out for a while.
Yeah. I do that to my wife a lot. She'll tell me something like, "Hey, what's it?" It's so bad.
So for everyone listening, you heard it first. TGO treats me the same way he treats his wife. No, I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a good time, and I just there's just not a dominant deck type, you know. Like there's like Sleuth has a horrible time against Scum, which is kind of funny. And I don't want to speak for Javier at all, but I'll just start assuming some things, and I'll say that if as a player, if you say, hey, I play this deck really well, this Sleuth deck, and it has a really high percentage chance of winning very quickly, but then my dark side deck will lose like 55% of its games, you can look at it and go, well, as long as I top 16, I don't really care, because as long as my dark side deck beats this deck, or not top 16, top 8, sorry, as long as my dark side deck beats the style of my light side deck, then all I have to do is just make the top cut and then just win with my light side, and I win the event. So I personally, if I were to assume, I would assume maybe that's why he was playing Scum, because he knows that Scum is a great anti-Sleuth set matchup, I guess.
So you're saying you thought there was going to be a lot of Sleuth decks then?
No. That's my point. Like, let's say your Sleuth deck consistently wins with the dial at 4, right?
Yeah.
So all you need to do is bring a dark side deck that loses with the dial higher than that, and then you just ride the coattails of your light side. And
that's been going on all season long, though.
Right. But my point is, like, I just think that if the deck that can win faster than your deck loses or doesn't win as quickly against Scum, then you just bring Scum. So my point is like, Scum loses to, say, like 4 different light side decks, but it doesn't lose as badly to one particular, and then you just ride the coattails of your ridiculously quick deck, and as long as you top 8, then you're all set.
So you're keeping your fingers crossed, basically.
I hate Sleuth, so I refuse to play it, and so I look at the meta very much as in like, well, I'm going to play my best with decks that require a lot of skill and a lot of thought process, you know, and I'll play them as best as I can, and hope for good matches, and hope that, you know, my opponent doesn't see great setups all day, you know. And as long as those things don't happen, then I'll do fine, you know. But because I'm not running a deck for the light side that wins with the dial at 4 or less, I know my odds of winning the events are not high.
You should play Dash Freeholder, see if anybody notices.
Shut up. Well, I mean, you know, even look at Tyler's list. You know, his dark side decks are decks that when they lose slowly, and his light side decks are when they win very quickly. And I don't believe he was ever top seed going in either of the events that he was playing. He just knew that he needed to, I assume, knew that he needed to make the top cut, and then just win quickly with one side and lose slowly with the other. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure his dark side deck won plenty of games. I don't mean it, you know, in any sort of negative way. I'm just saying, you know, that's so at top 16 worlds, I've top 8'd, I've top 4'd multiple regionals now, and I won a bunch of store championships. I can say with absolute certainty that the way this game plays in the top cut is absolutely horrible, and it is really, really silly. But I didn't mean to rant entirely about that. But our chat box is dried up, so either everyone's listening to my sleuth analysis with bated breath, or people are violently disagreeing and just not wanting to say anything. Where do you fall? You've been quiet.
Been texting with my wife.
I hate you so much.
No, I gotta meet her. I think I'm meeting her for dinner soon. So
yeah, I was gonna wrap it up, but I was hoping the chat box.
I've got a sleuth deck sleeved up. I just actually haven't played a game with it yet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try it, and I agree. I don't like the tournament. I don't like the tiebreaker part of the rules right now. I think that it skews the environment a little. Maybe not a little, maybe a lot. But
like the
that's
best
a
example
discussion
I
we
can
can
give.
save for. It's something we can save for another day, I think.
Yeah, I know. I just like Jacob and I played in the top 4, and in my dark side deck, I had to play differently, which is fine. But I played differently so I can try to skew the tie breaks in my favor. And then that realization during game game 2 against him, and I know I've heard Tyler say the same thing in his discussions online, but it's you now then drastically shift, and you're not even playing the same game anymore. You're playing this different game where all you're doing is trying not to lose, which is just so silly.
Yeah.
But real quick, Lethal, I see. I like their new elimination bracket. It works really well. I don't think it works in Star Wars. I think I don't know Netrunner as well as I know Star Wars, obviously, but I don't. If Netrunner has several luck-based decks, then that's great, I guess. But I would never want to sit down and just like lose to Sleuth and immediately go into the elimination bracket. Like, again, because that guy's going to go into the next bracket and he can just keep riding the coattails of the one deck, right? Like, as far as I can tell, isn't that the case? Anyway, so we are going to be back next week on Wednesday.
Yes.
And at our
regular time next week.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be better for everybody. I'm assuming Fridays are not the best day to do these, so. But yeah, the trips are done, and then we've got a couple weeks where we'll be doing it on Wednesdays, and then we got our big Gen Con events in a couple months, and we're gonna do some special things there.
Yep, I'm looking forward to Gen Con.
Yeah, I'm really very excited about it, but I'm more interested to see what sets we're gonna get by then. You know, like I'm very curious because I think I'd like the cycle to be complete because I'd like us to be able to play in the environment as it was designed. You know, but I don't know. It's really interesting. We still don't have an ETA on the next pack, do we?
No, it's still on the boat, I believe.
So, in fact, this is Wednesday, so it has to go shipping by next week or it won't make June. Yeah. It has to go shipping by next week or it will not make June.
I mean, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be out before the next regionals. I mean, obviously not this weekend, but there's another weekend with West Berlin or East Berlin. We'll just say New Jersey.
Yeah.
And
that's next weekend. That's the 21st.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any way it comes out before next weekend.
No, those guys will. That and North Carolina will both be playing with the same meta.
Actually, there's 3 next weekend. There's the Oregon one on a Sunday, and then 2 on that Saturday. That should be an interesting weekend.
I didn't realize there was.
And then there's a month break before the final 2 in Tulsa and Greenfield, Wisconsin.
At this point, I'm not going to Tulsa. I suppose that could change, but it's just too far.
I don't anticipate going to Greenfield just because I don't want to be coming home at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whatever
I still think you should go, but I disagree. I tell you what, let's make a pact. If I win tomorrow, you're going to the event.
I will make no such pact.
Whatever, you'll just pilot my decks I win with, and then you'll go.
No, because there'll be a new pack out by then.
Tomato.
I already know my decks.
Well, send them to me so I know what I'm playing. I still don't know what I'm playing tomorrow.
My decks require the whole cycle to be out.
All right, folks. Well, with that, I think we'll
that's
wrap it up.
what you got.
Do you have anything else for the cast today?
No.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining on the late. You said you're going to go eat pizza.
Yes. I thought they would like to know. I'm going to go eat pizza and have some beer with my daughter.
Your daughter drinks beer?
But I'm not going to let her have any beer.
Oh man, that escalated quickly.
I did let her taste it one time. I let her taste a little bit of summer shandy. She didn't like it.
I'm now having this like mental image of like you kind of like half passed out on the couch, your feet up on the coffee table, this giant pizza box next to you, your daughter like passed out right next, like kind of cradled to your left, you know,
Star Wars is playing on TV, and then you guys both are holding beers in your hands. That's the image I have right now.
I have learned to never pass out while I'm home alone with my daughter. Only bad things happen from that.
You wake up and you've got marker all over your face.
I used to work midnights, and I would come home in the morning and try to stay awake. And sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I failed. And I passed out with her one day, and I woke up to some bad things. So,
Never again. Never again.
never again. Yeah. Bad. That was bad parenting on my part.
All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and we'll kill the cast here, and look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Enjoyed the commentaries, and
Good luck to everybody tomorrow.
yes, absolutely. I can't wait to see everybody, and I hope all the events go splendid. Hopefully, everybody has a bathroom in their store, and
Or a porta potty.
No, it needs to be in their store. If it's out of the store, I just feel awful for them. So,
all right. Do you need to talk to me after, or are we good?
We can chat for a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, we will end the cast here, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.